So, I've had this idea for a while now, and I originally wanted to try and get this done on Halloween with the best list, but yeah, I'd rather just do this instead. These were two completely separate ideas I thought I'd throw in the one video because why not? So yeah, Max Ruby 04, a pretty iconic creepypasta that has so many video remakes that you can only go so many ways. Whether they would be good or phenomenal, or bad and absolutely horrible. Ugh, just you wait till we get to the worst ones. But anyway, with all that being said and done, in my opinion, we're going to go over the top 10 best and worst Max Ruby 04 remakes. Now, keep in mind, this is all simply my own personal opinion, and for the creators who are going to be mentioned in the videos that I'm actually ranking. For the videos that are on the best list, you should be happy that they've at least been good enough or actually been perfect enough to be on the best list. And for the ones on the worst, I'm not saying you need to delete your videos, but at least try next time, okay? Alright, so with all that said, let's get started with number 10 best. So, my best list has changed a few times. In fact, my bottom 10 spot originally was going to belong to Sir Sed's Max Ruby 04 video parts 1 through 3, but after thinking about it for a while, as well as finding other videos, Jace here's video about Max Ruby 04 Reimagined is actually quite good. For some of the ones near the bottom or the middle of the list, I might not have a lot to talk about. That's because I either don't have a lot to say, or I just haven't seen these in a while. I'm going off of memory here. But yeah, this one's nice. Good animation, it follows the story, I like where it goes. I don't really have anything to complain about here. Why is it all the way at the bottom of 10? That's because the videos get better from here. If I had to come up with some sort of negative, even though it would be really minor, Jace didn't use the official parents model, so that's a little weird. Don't worry, dude. It's fine. I'm sure I don't blame you in the slice. You probably haven't seen season 6 and 7. Other than that minor nitpick, which if I had to come up with something, then sure, this is still quite a good remake. Number 10, worst. Honestly, coming up with a top 10 worst was actually a bit of a challenge because I only found a few videos that were pretty bad. But in the past few days to nearly 2 weeks, I've found more videos that actually are pretty bad. Now, this is a little harsh to call Max Ruby Episode 04 from Rob Roy as a worst. Keep in mind, this one's actually not even that bad. At the very beginning, I do like the menu. It looks pretty nice. Almost looks like it's being played on a VHS player. And that's just a fair amount of the intro, then some random stuff, and yeah, I could go on, honestly. This isn't bad, it's just me being confused. In fact, look at the runtime. It's only 1 minute and 12 seconds. Now, I could definitely tell he couldn't fit literally everything into a 3 or 4 minute video, but at least he tried. Plus, everything looks cool, but I needed something for the bottom of the list, and this is barely considered a worst list. Keep in mind, dude, this is not even that bad. I would give you like a solid maybe 5 out of 10. Not bad at all, just a little weird. Number 9 best. This one's actually a bit of an easy choice. Matien 8005's version of Max Ruby 04 is amazing. When I actually first saw this video, I was surprised by how blown away this is. I mean, sure, the story's the same, but there's something interesting that happens to Mr. Bunny in particular in this video. He actually becomes the villain. I mean, sure, he technically is in the story, but like, he becomes this corrupted monster, and even tries to kill Max and Ruby at one point. Like, that is so creative, and I love that. Why isn't this any higher, you may be asking? It's because the videos got better, and this just had to get dragged down by other videos. Don't worry, dude, this is definitely great. But yeah, feel free to check out the videos that are actually going to be mentioned by thumbnail in this video. Just take a quick pause and go look it up. Number 9 worst. Max Ruby 04 retake by Grammy Shazami. That's a weird but cool username. Now, this is another one that's not really even that bad, just one I had to put on the list. Although all the artwork and stuff looks really nice. I actually love that. Not gonna lie, I really don't know what else to say. Again, it's not bad. I would give it like a solid 5 out of 10, but I just don't know what else to say. Okay, if I had to say some negative about it, it can be a little weird at the end. Yeah, I don't know. Moving on. Number 8 best. Max and Ruby 04 from Windows Ultimate. Man, this one's amazing. I like how it starts up with the hide and seek episode and then everything escalates downward from there. Like we get the tombstone scene for a short while, then we have Max in the living room while Ruby is crying, I guess upstairs or off camera. And then, it's the rest of the story. I don't know what else to say. Number 8 worst. So you know how I mentioned that the previous 2 videos weren't even that bad, but I needed them to be on this list anyway, only because of a top 10 worst list? Well, we're starting to get to the videos that are definitely not like a 1 out of 10 bad, but like a 3 or 4 out of 10. And I think the perfect example is Max Ruby 04, the true remaster from 13th Century Wolf, the object something something something. With like 2 or 3 scenes, this is literally just reused from the remake of the original video. No, I am not even kidding. This guy decided to throw in a few original scenes, but then to give us like 95% of the original Max Ruby 04 remake. That's actually phenomenal. Quick spoiler alert, that's actually not on the best list. Not because it's bad. No, not at all. It's just because I wanted to add more videos, that's it. Number 7 best. Denise Kazooie, you never fail me. Episode 04 is amazing. It follows the story really well, while also sharing a few moments from the remake. Also, you have the official Parents Design model, which looks great here, and... no kidding, I really don't know what else to say. Moving on. Number 7 worst. Okay, I don't think this video even counts since this is more or less like a meme, but Helicopter, but it's Max Ruby 04 from Jorman Jose Rivas Suarez. Yeah, I'm sorry, your videos. Wait a minute, that username is going to be familiar. Keep that in mind, that's actually going to be an upcoming entry. The paper cutouts you do are fine, but this isn't even 04. This is just you making a meme. That's why it's on this list. Okay, I hate to say this, but this has no purpose to exist as a meme. I'm not even kidding with you. I get it, you were probably just trying to have fun, and hey, if that's all you were trying to do, then that's fine, but this doesn't really fit an otherwise dark creepypasta. Yeah, let's just move on. Number 6 best. By the way, pardon if the audio recording gets a little bit weirder. As of me recording this right now, it was a day after recording the rest of this, so keep that in mind. Anyway, so this is dragged down a lot by only 2 negatives, but I still love this remake quite a lot. And we're starting to get into the 8 to 10 out of 10 rankings. Aisha's version of Max Ruby 04 is amazing. All the animation and voice acting here is amazing, and I love every second of this. But we have 2 problems. The first one is not as bad as the second one, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, the first problem, the tombstone scene. It drags out for around a minute, and I could kind of understand why it needs to. I mean, hey, some of the remakes in this list, and even the worst list, sure, they might have had to drag out for a while, unless they were around a minute long. If so, then that's not even a good excuse. But still, though, this scene for around a minute is, awkward at best, and kind of boring at worst. But then it gets even better. Now, the scene where Ruby does scream and cry, guess how long this scene lasts? I am not even kidding, I actually timed this. It takes around 2 minutes to get through. Why? I mean, I get it. Like, couldn't you make it at least 30 seconds? That's the only really bad thing about this video. I mean, again, the tombstone scene, I can understand why it would have to take around a minute to get through, but 2 minutes? Otherwise, though, this is a great video, don't get me wrong. It's just, the pacing is weird to get through. Anyway, with those only 2 negatives, this is still an 8 out of 10 video, and I'm happy to see this in person. Anyway, let's move on. Number 6 worst. No kidding, I'm gonna cut straight to the chase with this one. Max Ruby 04, 10-year-old's creation from Seba, the archival guy, is, again, not as bad as the ones coming up, but it feels really lazy. Although the episode selection at the menu looks pretty nice, and then, why did you use 2 PNGs of Max and Ruby when you could have done at least a little bit more in terms of variety? Okay, I'll admit, the first minute and 30 seconds are not even that bad, they're just good, I guess, but everything goes downward after that. And then as the story goes on, they just use these 2 PNGs, I'm not even kidding. Like, okay, look, I could tell you wanted to be somewhat original, but why not have a bit more variety with your PNGs? Like, were those the only 2 PNGs you could find on the internet? There are so many more you could pick from. The editing for them is fine, I guess, and, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Moving on. Number 5 best. Cursed Crystal is pretty well known for making Max Ruby 04 remakes, but I'm gonna pick only one video from our channel that's gonna be on this list. Max Ruby 04.mov, found footage PAL archive, however you want to pronounce that, is very good. This is basically a retake of the story rather than trying to just copy the original video for like the 1000th time. Because, like, instead of the protagonist trying to get a last-minute Christmas gift, instead, it's actually finding a weird and obscure DVD that the parents look over and, yeah, wonder why there were creepy edits in it. Especially the human parts, where, yeah, that actually surprised me. Like, again, this isn't just supposed to be a copy-paste of the story while having your own little twist with it. This is a completely different video. Like I mentioned, it's got a lot of story in it, and, I haven't seen this in a while, and I don't really know what else to say, but, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Number 5, worst. Hey, do you remember J. Horman Jose Rivas Suarez that I mentioned a while ago? Well, his version of Max Rubio 4 is actually next on the list. Now, keep in mind for the worst list in particular, we're starting to get to the videos that have almost no redeeming qualities in them. But this is definitely far from the worst. I do really like the animation that's in here, but I'm really bored by this, honestly. I only saw this once, and yeah, I don't like this. And yet again, I really don't know what else to say. Like, take a look at this. What am I supposed to say to this? I only had to rewatch this extremely quickly for the making of this list, but yeah. What do I even say to this? Again, the animation looks nice, but I don't really have a lot to say about it. Let's just move on. Number 0004, best. No, I'm just kidding. Number 4, best. Man, could you imagine if I did that for every single time? That would be hilarious, and that would actually be perfect for the story. Anyway, so, Pizza Taft's version of 04 is surprisingly original. Like, I'm not just saying that. This is the most original out of all of these. Except the top 2, but we'll get to them. Okay, so compared to the previous few videos, I will talk at least for a minute or two about this one, because this is just how good this is. Kind of like 1 or 2 of the other remakes I mentioned so far, this has a pretty original story, and it just doesn't copy-paste the original video or the story for that matter. No, it has its own premise, and I like that. It mainly just focuses on Max and Ruby for a few minutes, then there's a lot of text, and then the conversation around the 3-minute mark, and... Wait, what? Ruby actually dies in this one? That's, interesting. Then when Max finds out that he's all alone, he actually does get adopted. That's surprising. Alright, I think that's all that I'm gonna mention, but yeah, this is how good this is. I love how this is an original story, and again, it's not trying to copy-paste this video for the trillionth time, but I love everything about this, and I'm gonna be saying that for the next 3 on the best list. If only we were talking about the best list, but alright, we have a few more videos in the bad list to go. Let's just get them over with. Number 4, worst. Max and Rubio 4 from Mars. Cool username, but your remake isn't very good. I'm not saying it's horrible, and keep in mind, none of these made my blood boil or made me want to break something. No, that's for the top 2. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, I don't have a lot to say. It's just reused content with some pretty nice animation, but that's really all I could say. I sound more bored rather than mad. Then again, for all of the worst ones, I only had to see them once, and that's because I didn't want to watch them again, so maybe that could be the reason, or I just didn't give all these a full in-depth detail before making this recording, but I don't really care. If my mind changes, I'll make a post on my community page about it or something, but don't expect that for at least a while. Anyway, we have now reached the top 3. This list is almost complete. Number 3, best. This is actually one of the more videos I saw recently, and wow, I am blown away. This was made 7 months ago. 04 retake from Mika Likes Creepypastas is, yes, this high up on the list. I saw this not too long ago, and man, I love this a lot. So you remember how I mentioned that Pizza Top's video was a completely original story? This is almost the exact same thing. This is entirely new. It feels like an actual Max and Ruby episode, but obviously not meant for the show. Because it actually focuses on both of them rather than the parents or anything like that, and I will admit, it is pretty interesting. For around the first minute, we have the normal animation you would expect for at least seasons 1 through 3 or something. Then we have a fair amount of hand drawings, which is actually pretty unique. Then it cuts back to the normal animation, and I will admit, I'm not actually going to show this on camera, but this one part actually made me laugh.
Max, would you say something? One, our parents are fucking dead. It's like you don't even care.
I don't know why, that's so out of character for Ruby to curse right in front of a 3-year-old, but if you want a remake that does that, then hey, this one's for you. Other than that, in the video continuing, I surprisingly don't really have a lot to say, but man, this is a 9 out of 10 for sure. But my top 2 were a tough choice, but I'll get to that in my second place spot. Anyway, number 3, worst. Hey Luigi! Yeah Mario? Why is your remake of 04 suck? It's not me, Mario, it's this guy named after me. Wait, let me see his name. It's Super Luigi Comes! Luigi, this is you all over! Mario, I swear it wasn't me! Your remake sucks, Luigi! Okay, sorry about that Mario joke, but yeah, Super Luigi Com, your video is definitely not good. So for a fair amount of the videos that were actually on this worst list, at least I credited the animation looking really nice. This just looks awkward, I'm not even gonna lie. Although this one scene where it doesn't even take place in the bunny's household, yeah, I'll admit, it looks cool, but that's like the only positive I could say about this otherwise toxic remake. Oh yeah, by the way, this has AI text-to-speech voice, which I don't have a problem with, but it doesn't sound right. Also, this guy just likes to use 2 different PNGs of Max and Ruby, and that's about it, and they just use that for the remainder of the video, and a fair amount of edits, and yeah, I don't sound mad, I sound completely fucking bored. You know, I would rather watch something that makes me pissed, rather than being bored out of my mind right now. But this is definitely not bad enough to be ranked as the top 2 worst. Number 2, best. Okay, this was a really close decision. I kind of wanted this to be at my number 1, but my number 1 is just more special to me in my opinion. So, do you know Jobless Monday? He's a pretty decently known analog horror maker. And Max and Ruby Filipino Bootleg DVD from 2006 is, yes, this high up on my list. Holy fuck, this is amazing. I'm not exaggerating, this is genuinely amazing. Like, where do I begin with this? Okay, let's just start from the beginning here. There's a little bit of text to cover a fair amount of what's going on, and I love how Jobless Monday actually made an actual version of the Max and Ruby bootleg with 2 DVD-Rs. Sure, they might not have any content in them and the cover is completely fan-made, but still, that proves how much he cares. Kind of like Rodrigo Jones, or Jogo's, version of Sonic bootleg tape, or Sonic episode 66 if you want to be specific. By the way, that video is fucking phenomenal. Then I love how Jobless Monday made an actual interactive menu, then it actually fast forwards to an episode, and that's when the creepy stuff starts to set in, and this is all originally animated, and wow, like, I'm blown away by how good this looks. This is surprisingly not the number 1 spot, but I trust you, this was a tough choice. Anyway, I'll talk about that next. But anyway, then everything from this point onward just becomes more and more memorable. Like, the scene where Max and Ruby are upset in the bedroom and you see certain stuff in the background. I can't really say it even though my content isn't really... Okay, fine, I guess I could talk about it since... Well, this video is definitely not for kids. It's how the parents actually killed themselves. There. Is that what you wanted me to say? Like, I'm not kidding. Go look it up. And, yeah... Let the not for kids thing be mentioned here, because even though my channel isn't really made for kids, with like 1 or 2 video exceptions aside, yeah, please keep that in mind. Anyway, then this next scene genuinely surprised me on how, you know what, I'm not gonna do any more spoilers because I kind of want you all to see this video for yourself. You know what? I think I'll end my segment here. This is close to being number 1, but my number 1 was just a little more passionate and a little more nostalgic. But don't get me wrong though, this video is a 10 out of 10 for sure. Now, as much as I would love to talk about my number 1, we have another video to get to before the number 1 worst. Anyway, number 2 worst. This was originally going to be my number 1, but I thought about it for a second, and yeah, you know what? This deserves to be here, because... oh boy. Rumorman 875's version of 04 is not even Max and Ruby 04. I'm not even kidding with you. This has nothing to do with the story. This has literally no positives that I could think of. The thumbnail looks okay, I guess, but that's not even a compliment compared to how bad this video turned out. This is just some really weird out-of-context live-action video, and then only Max and Ruby appear up at like the last 20 seconds, and it has nothing to do with the story. Yeah, you can tell why this is ranked all the way over here. This is a 1 out of 10. Like, this doesn't have anything good to say about it. Then again, my number 1 worst list doesn't have anything good to say about it either. But, you know what? I found this video yesterday while starting the recording for this. Keep that in mind. And I hated every second of this until the ending. Thank God this is only less than a minute long. Seriously, what were you thinking when making this video? This isn't even good. This isn't even so bad it's good. You wanna know what I would rather watch instead? Ra Roy and Grammy Shazami's videos, because at least they tried, and the animation for both videos looks nice, but... Those two I would rather watch in a heartbeat than ever watch this video again. Okay. We are now at the number 1 best. So, like I mentioned, Jobless Monday's version of 04 and my number 1 spot were a pretty tough choice. But, as much as I would love to give the Filipino bootleg DVD the number 1 spot, I kinda can't do that, because this video is special to me in a lot of ways, for not only being one of the more memorable ones that came out pretty recently, as well as being one of the more popular ones, but somehow this just feels nostalgic, even though it came out 3 months ago. You all probably know what I'm right about to talk about, and that video is none other than Max and Ruby bootleg DVD menu overview from Leah the DVD and VHS collector. You know what? Let me give you this right off the bat. You deserve that. Anyway, let's get on with this phenomenal video. First off, this menu has 4 episodes to go by, with all moving images, background music that actually sounds pretty nice, and yeah, that's how this actually opens up. Then we get this weird image of Max and Ruby for about 20 seconds, then it just selects episode 4, and then everything just continues from there. So the title card is pretty original with the Parents' Day thing, which is kind of a running theme for all of these videos, pretty much. Except it wasn't the worst list, because they don't even have that. And then it's just the story. Okay, anyway, on to my number 1 worst. No, I'm kidding. I'll talk about this. Did you think I would really end this segment there? That wasn't even planned. I just literally came up with that just now. Anyway, so the scene where Max and Ruby are playing together can be a little weird, but still looks nice. But for some odd reason, and I don't know why, but I felt kind of weird as of just seeing Mr. Bunny there instead of his wife, because it's just him for about like 20 seconds almost, just looking concerned and upset. But then we get this freeze frame where you have to pause this at the right timing, showing that she was the one that actually murdered him. That's a twist. I'll definitely give it that. And then the tombstone scene, which is supposed to drag out for a while, and I do like how there's like a little sound effect after Ruby drops the shovel. Then the bedroom scene, then we get a pretty gory scene, actually, which I'm not even going to bother describing. Then after that, we get this mysterious figure that just appears in the living room. Max looking at it for a moment, then he somehow goes near it. I think this is just bootleg Ruby, or, like, I don't know, really. Then we get the scene where Ruby's trying to enter Max's room, but she actually apologizes for slapping him when Max said burn in hell earlier. Then, by the way, the voice acting for this is top-notch, I will definitely say that for sure. Then the scene plays out until she eventually enters the room, and then, yeah. Then the scene that you would pretty much expect from 04. Then it continues on to the scene where Ruby's alone, and then it actually has end credits, but when it goes back to the main menu, and this is interesting, when the person using the remote to select an episode clicks episode 4, it actually plays Max's mud bath instead. And that's very interesting. And no kidding, that's actually how the video ends. Like, you should know why this is getting popular as we speak, with nearly 200,000 views as of the moment of me recording this. Leia, you deserve a lot of credit for making this awesome video. Just, seriously, I can't credit all of these best videos enough. I mean, sure, the ones that are ranked lower didn't mean that there was anything bad about them, it's just that the videos were getting better and better. And I did mean that. Okay, I meant it for the last 3 or 4, but not for, like, the first half. Numbers 10 through 5, I guess, but, like, the last 4 were something phenomenal. Okay, now that we've gotten the best video, let's address the worst. I might rage at this, so keep that in mind. Disappointment in the game of life. Honestly, I kind of don't want to talk about this video, but I have to, for the sake of this list. I didn't mind talking about every worst video so far, with the exception of maybe number 2, because that wasn't even really a video, that was just someone, I guess, doing whatever. But I don't care about that, because this video starts off decently, but escalates extremely quickly. And what am I talking about? Well, the worst video I've ever seen for Max and Ruby 04 goes to Slandrina fans. Max and Ruby 04 lost episode VHS tape, He Goons Died. Okay, first of all, what kind of title is that? The words up until VHS tape were fine, but the He Goons Died? What are you talking about? It gets worse from here. So, for the first, 48 seconds, it's fine. I have nothing to complain about. But when we're only 1 minute and 4 seconds, Max says burn in hell a few times when it cuts to this guy that looks like Santa, I'm not even kidding. And you have the story paced wrongly. Max is supposed to say that after the parents died, not like before that. Anyway, so when Ruby is about to go upstairs, apparently we get the shot where she's about to scream, but oh wait, what's that? There's text on the screen. Let's read it together. He got died and dead. He got kill him. I think on the pass out. What the hell was that? Do you know how? Do you not know how to structure a sentence right? Okay, first off, that made no sense. Secondly, she's not even supposed to be like this right now. And, oh, what's that? There's more. Let's get into it. I set up on the Max Ruby 04 creepy... What? I'm sorry, what? Even take any more. ... What the fuck am I looking at right now? Then it's just... that. Then with absolutely no audio, by the way, he got ripped too, died. Seriously, do you not know how to form a fucking sentence? Are you kidding me? This text drags out for a while. Oh, what's that? I'm going to jump scare. Okay, at least thanks for the warning, but oh, what's that? It's just remade from the original. Oh, how fucking delightful. Yay! Seriously, this video, this is fucking stupid. Wait, what's that? What? Kayla? What? Human girl? What? So we now get the Five Nights at Freddy's ringtone from Phone Guy, and then she starts talking about Baldi.exe, which has nothing to do with Max Ruby 04, and this just feels like an ass pull. Then she talks for around 2 minutes, and then, he shows up, jump scares the audience with the reverse intro, and then, oh, what's that? Kayla died! There's a really bad, like, edit of her bloody and stuff like that, and I'm not kidding, that's when it ends. After like nearly 40 seconds on that one image. Oh, God. That was fucking awful. Slendrina fans, okay, you know how I mentioned at the beginning of this video that at least I don't want their videos deleted? But try at least better? You know what? I changed my mind for this video only. This video only. Slendrina fans, this is a fucking horrible video. It doesn't follow the story. It makes absolutely no sense. And Baldi comes out of nowhere that's not even related to Max Ruby, like... And Kayla shows up, like... What do I say about this? This video is horrible. It's not even scary. It doesn't try to be scary. It doesn't even try to follow a fucking story. By the way, your sentence structuring was bad. This gets a zero... You know what? No, I take that back. A negative 10 out of 10. There is nothing good about this video. In the slightest. I advise all of you to not watch this. And this surprisingly has around 400 views. That was made 3 months ago. What the fuck? Even though the comments are turned off, you would probably just say, oh, come on, dude, this probably isn't even that bad, and, oh, you suck because you're gonna include a video on this list. Okay, 2 things. I mentioned this so many fucking times on this channel, but everything I talk about is my own personal opinion, which you guys can't even seem to fucking understand. Except my friends who actually are fine with my opinion, which if so, thank you. But for anyone that doesn't even agree with this, then leave my channel. What are you even doing here? Secondly, take a good look at this video. No, I'm not kidding. Watch this video, front to back, and tell me you don't want to click the dislike button and never watch this video ever again. I dare you. Okay, let me try and calm down here, because this video... This is a pathetic excuse of a Max Ruby 04 video. Hell, you know what? This is a pathetic excuse of an analog horror video. It's not even scary. Okay, I'm done with this. So, we ended on a fucking thing that deserves to be blown up by an atom bomb, but next to that is a video that deserves to be highly regarded for how phenomenal it is. Leia the DVD and VHS collector, you made a shining gem? While Slendrina fans' video is something that deserves to be blown up and never ever talked about or even remembered again. And that, in my opinion, is the top 10 best and worst Max Derby 04 remakes. Like I mentioned, this is simply my own personal opinion, even if you guys can't even comment on this video, but still, I want you all to please acknowledge this. The stuff I talk about on this channel, the stuff I talked about in this video, this is my own opinion. For the videos on the best list, you might not have the biggest opinion with, you might even think it's decently bad or something like that. And for the ones on the worst list, you might think are good. And that's fine. But this was just simply my own personal taste, and except talking about the worst videos, okay, except like the last 3 or 4, this list was pretty fun to work on, even though this audio recording has been dragging out for barely 30 minutes, and I want to end it here. Okay, so, with all that being said, I will see you all later with what we do next time, and that is all for now.